Mike. Mike. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order, May 12th at 6 p.m. Approve the April 28th Selectmen meeting minutes.
Second.
So I have to call the names now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Alan,
Aye.
Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and I was not present, so I cannot vote. So motion passes. Item 2, approve, Item 3, public forum. This is an opportunity for anyone who wants to address the Board of Selectmen with any issue that is not on the agenda. And I'm going to pass this over to Rick because he had a hard time getting on Zoom, so he's here with me.
Oh, good.
So here's Rick.
Hi.
No.
Okay, my name's Rick Spencer. I live down on Langsford Road. I've got a couple of grandkids. The oldest one is in kindergarten, and she has a brother who will go to preschool next year. Now, the problem is the bus now cannot come down Langsford Road. There's so many cars parked on I guess the north end of Langsford Road is basically a one-car road right now. I went down and measured it this afternoon. There's literally 11 feet between the cars on either side of the road. So the bus driver won't come down there anymore. So now she lets the kids off across from Cape Porpoise Kitchen. Now, there's no crosswalk to get across from that side of the road over to the Atlantic Hall side. It's a very, very busy intersection. It's close, it's 4/10 of a mile from my daughter's house down to there. There's been a bus stop at the corner of Langsford Road and Ward Road going on 40 years, 45 years. You go back to Stephen Boschman. My daughter started kindergarten here. She's 38 years old now. So she's been taking the bus down there. My son basically went all through that. So I would like, I don't know, somehow to make this into one side of the road parking. There's just no, you can't pass two cars on that road. If a fire truck tried to come down and there was a car coming the other way, somebody's got to back up. If the ambulance has to come down, somebody has to back up. So I don't know what else to say, except it's pretty tight. You can go down and take a look most any time. It's been going on for years. It's gotten very bad in the last couple of weeks.
I'm thinking that from the Cape Porpoise Square to Ward Road is where the problem is.
Exactly.
I think after the Ward Road, the rest of the road on Langsford Road has no problems with parking.
You're exactly right. And I'm thinking that you could make this one side of the road parking Monday through Friday, because that will open up parking for the church, which, if it's one side, there's a lot of people who park on both sides of the church. There's a lot of older people who can't get up from behind Bradbury's. So they park on both sides of the road in front of the church. No parking Monday through Friday, one side of the road. That would work.
I agree. I was up there today twice. And when I was going just past Atlantic Hall, there were cars on both sides. And I was in the middle, and a car came down from the further end of Langsford Road and didn't want to acknowledge that I was in the middle of these cars.
Exactly. So
he
if
should
you
have
put
pulled
this
over.
into an ambulance,
Yeah, I see it all the time. You're exactly right. And that should be one side of the road parking. And I don't know about all the way down, but boy, I gotta tell you, near Atlantic Hall and the church, it needs to be.
no, like Alan
one side
said, to
only.
Ward Road. If you did it to Ward Road, it'd be fine.
Yeah,
and
I agree 100%.
I have a question for the board. Are you going to enforce it? Because you've shown no willingness to enforce the parking regulations that we have now.
Oh, get off it, Ed.
No, I'm not getting off it. I will not get off of it. We are the 5 people who are in charge of this town. We create the ordinance. We set the ordinance. And if you think that we can enforce half of the ordinances, not some of them, then you need to get off the board.
Oh,
And I think that's a
so you're asking me to resign, Ed? Is that it?
I'm showing my frustration with this because this is hypocritical. I think Rick is right, and I think that we should have parking on one side. But I'm just asking you all a question. You're going to enforce it?
I think, Ed, that's a whole different issue.
I don't think it's a different issue at all. I think it's the same issue because I see landscaper vehicles parked there, and I'm not picking on landscapers, but I see them parked in front of Fred Eaton's house all the time on either side of the road. So if we do this, are you going to enforce it? Because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't an issue.
It's enforced by the police, correct?
Well, right now we don't have an ordinance there. There is no.
I said if we have an ordinance, it's enforced by the police.
That is correct, but the police have been told not to enforce the ordinances on landscapers. And why do you think Goose Rocks?
Why don't you get off it, Ed? Get off it.
Because it's temporary.
What's that?
Because they're temporary. This is not somebody parking overnight, somebody parking all day long.
Well, if the school bus wants to go down there and somebody's getting their lawn mowed It's the same issue you have today.
They can't park there. If there's no parking on that side, nobody can park there.
Correct.
All right. I've said my piece. We'll see how it works.
Okay,
I would recommend that we change the ordinance to not have parking on the east side of, I think it's the east side of Langsford
Yes.
Road.
Yeah. That would be it.
I'm in favor of the no parking on one side, but I'm not in favor of doing the whole street. all
Yeah,
the
I'm
way
with you.
down.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
I
I
think
think
it should go to Ward Road.
absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
You know, I mean, when you're changing the bus route because there's too many cars on the road, you know, then it becomes an issue, I think.
I think you're right.
So would this be 7 days a week? I'd heard mention maybe Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday. I'm just asking for clarification.
I think if you did it Monday through Friday, just for the church, to give the church people access. Because a lot of the older people will park on both sides of the road, but that's not an issue for the bus. On the week, on Sunday, you know, so if you did a Monday through Friday, no parking on this side of the street, from here to Ward Road.
What do you think?
I don't have a problem with that. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
me neither. No, me neither.
No.
Do we need a vote, Lori?
Don't we have to have a public hearing?
Right, so what we would need to do is publicize this in the newspaper, give 7 days notice. And then we could have a public hearing at your May 26th meeting. That would be the soonest.
That's a
Yeah,
good
okay.
idea.
That sounds good.
Yep.
Let's do that.
And just so you know, there is a hand up in the virtual audience.
I'm done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
I've got a picture that I would love to get to. I don't know if it's, I don't know if you can see this, but there's my car in between two cars on Langsford Road. That's how close it is.
That's
absurd.
too close.
Oh, it's absurd.
Yeah.
You know?
It's no wonder the bus won't go
Yeah.
down.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
You take care.
All right.
Didn't we have Nina? Didn't she want to speak?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I want to support what Ed said. There's an enforcement issue, and it's a problem. And it's a problem on a lot of our narrow streets, and it's even becoming a problem on North Street. I think you have an enforcement issue with landscape especially, but also with a lot of repairmen. They're not temporary. They come in, they can spend an hour and a half. And Lock Street and Oak Street are very susceptible to them parking, so that it makes it very difficult for anyone to get by. You certainly cannot have cars passing. I've brought this issue before to the Board of Selectmen. We're even getting to the point where I see some of these kids in landscaping trucks come along, put out cones on a blind area on North Street and just park the truck there where there is no parking. They don't care. I've had them come onto my property because it's more convenient to reach my neighbor's house. I've tried to talk to them and they call me names. I have had to call the police 4 times last year trying to get them out, to get the landscapers to move on. My neighbor complains because the landscapers park on her lawn. They are a real problem. They have room to park in their client's driveway, and they won't do it because it's hard to back out a trailer. But you would have a problem on Lock Street getting a fire engine by or getting an ambulance by. And I have a husband now who's 90 years old. We've had to call an ambulance once, luckily at night when the landscapers aren't around. But we've also had a fire down in Oak Street. And I worry about a fire engine or an ambulance getting through there. I think you have a real enforcement issue with these landscapers. You're either going to enforce the law for everybody, or you're not going to enforce it. Making an exception from them. They're not a UPS truck that, you know, where the guy jumps out, delivers a package and leaves. They can be there for a long time.
We agree, by the way, that it needs to change. And what we're trying to do is work with people to, it's kind of difficult to just say, all of a sudden, you guys can't park here. But we're trying to come up with some kind of a standard that says, hey, you can't do this. You got to be wherever it is. We've talked about this before, and I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, it would be nice to come up with a standard that allows emergency vehicles at least to get by.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I think
Thank you, Nina.
I think we all agree.
So that's my 2 cents.
Okay, thanks, Nina.
Do we have anybody else commenting?
No, no other hands.
Okay. Item 4, consider a renewal liquor license application submitted by JPRE LLC DBA Roma Pizza, Kennebunkport, 5 Union Street. Staff recommends approval.
So move.
Second.
All right. We'll take the vote. Pat?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And Sheila votes aye. Motion passes. Consider a renewal liquor license application submitted by Allison's Restaurant, 11 Dock Square. Staff recommends approval of this license.
So move.
Second.
All right, taking the roll. Pat?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
Sheila says aye. Motion passes. Item 6, public hearing on June town meeting warrant ordinances. This is a public hearing for the warrant articles that will be voted by secret ballot. Okay. We have members of the planning board. Would they like to call themselves to order?
Okay, I think we're sort of expecting
So
Nina to.
moved.
Okay.
No, I'm here too.
Oh, you're here? Okay, good, Tom.
Okay, so I'm calling to order the meeting of the planning board. I need to take attendance. Tom Boak, chairman.
Aye, Nina
Larry.
Perlmutter.
Larry was there a minute ago.
Larry Simmons, yeah, I'm here, yeah.
And is there just the 3 of you?
As far as I know,
Yes.
Okay, so.
that is a quorum, however.
Yep. So Lori,
Right, so the items that will be voted on at town meeting, we have Tracy O'Rourke, the town clerk, and Werner Gilliam, Director of Planning and Codes here to answer any questions. Question 1 is an amendment to our river ordinance, and it brings our ordinance in alignment with language in Kennebunk, so that the harbor master doesn't have to enforce 2 different rules on both sides of the river. Question 2 And that includes the amending the interlocal agreement that's between Kennebunk and Kennebunkport. And then question 2 is about the Harbor and Waterfront ordinance. And this change just puts back in Goose Rock's Beach as an exception. If you have a mooring in Goose Rock's Beach, you do not need to be a peer member. There are several mooring areas that are excluded, and Goose Rocks was just not included in those exemptions in the past. Question number 3 is about sign and billboards. Werner, do you want to cover that?
Yes, so that particular question, as we've discussed, makes certain amendments to the land use portion of the town's ordinance on signage, primarily regarding content. It neutralizes content and neutralizes some distinction between commercial signage and non-commercial signage, as well as brings certain elements into alignment with state law. There was some language regarding election signage that needed to be brought into alignment with state law. And that is that particular question.
And question 5, Werner?
Question 5 brings, it would be an allowance for the town to allow for illuminated signage on town-owned property. This is the amendment that we've discussed that would allow for the town to place a permanent message board on town-owned property.
And I think I forgot question 4. I think I jumped to question 5 and I forgot question 4, which is the right-of-way temporary signage.
Correct. That's an associated question. It's located in a different section of the ordinance, but similarly deals with the allowance of election signage in the town right-of-way.
So this is the public's opportunity to ask any questions about these ordinance amendments or make comment on them.
Do we have any hands? So if there are no hands, I will close the public hearing. The planning board can.
I guess we can adjourn then, correct?
Yep, you can adjourn.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adjourn. Do we have a second?
Okay, second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I have a question on that.
Oh,
Okay, sorry, okay.
A comment on the signage, the illuminated signage, is that going to be on at night?
It would be, that's an operational question. So I guess the town could make that decision at that time. They could put a timer on it.
Okay.
Nina, you can vote with me and vote against it, and we won't have to have it at all.
Yeah, I noticed that the growth planning committee voted against it.
Yeah.
I
So
don't think it's in keeping with the town. We don't have any street lights. We don't allow other people to have signs. Why should the town be special?
Yeah,
We do have traffic signs. That is a little bit different. They move from place to place.
right. Well, to keep it in line with the fact that we're a dark skies community, I have to agree with the growth planning committee there. We shouldn't have illuminated signs at night.
So I did want to also, and you all answered some of that question for me. I was also going to report to the board. The growth planning committee did, as per the ordinance requirements, reviewed these two questions for consistency with the town comprehensive plan. The board voted a 4-1, so 4 in favor, 1 abstention for the first question, that is question 3, that item was consistent with the comprehensive plan. Regarding the question regarding the illuminated sign allowance for town properties, the board voted that was inconsistent with the comprehensive plan at a 3 in favor of that statement, 1 not in favor of that position, and 1 abstention.
Okay. So
As
that,
far as the planning board is continued, we really haven't considered this at the planning board, but I personally tend to agree with Nina. So.
well, these are going to be up for vote. Correct, Lori?
Correct.
So at that time, people will vote.
Yeah, I guess this brings me to jump on a soapbox for a little while. If you're going to have a public hearing with our board included, we should have a little advance notice of what's going into it so that we can actually make a determination. What we've traditionally, we are only given fait accompli changes to the land use ordinance. We're never given, hey, we're going to change it this way. What do you guys think? It's always just, hey, it's here it is, love it or not. You know, you can vote for it at the polls or not, your choice, but no, you have no standing as a town board.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I would also add that we have issues coming up that, you know, we need some workshop on the planning board that will end up with the Board of Selectmen as well for changes to the land use ordinance that may have to go to public vote. And, you know, it needs more exchange between our two boards.
We've had 3 meetings or more on these ordinance provisions and discussion in public with our regular meetings. So this is not anything new for people who are interested in what is going on in the town.
Well, I understand that, but I can't attend every Board of Selectmen meeting and figure out what it is that's going to come before the planning board. This is a problem. If I know in advance, I would be attending the Board of Selectmen meetings on those issues and, you know, be watching it closely.
Well, the agendas, Nina, are published in advance, and we have had numerous meetings on these ordinance changes. So I would think that somewhere along the way, I'm not saying that everybody, but somewhere along the way, somebody on the planning board is going to pick up that you people need to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pick up on it.
We've discussed process-wise that the planning board public hearing for warrant items does tend to show up at an odd time in the process, and that may be something that could be a future either process or ordinance amendment for the future in terms of the timing of how we think about and consider these types of amendments.
Yeah, maybe.
Warner, is that? Go ahead, Mike.
Anything that would involve the planning board approval or the growth planning committee, we probably should send a notice to them to let them know that's being discussed.
Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
a heads up would really be appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Okay.
Yeah, Warner, is that is this set by ordinance when we inform the planning board, or certainly this part of it, the public hearing probably is, but information and reciprocity between the two boards, is any of that set by ordinance?
So there's a requirement, that the boards hold public hearings on these amendments. And I think what we have is we've had a practice of where the boards hold their public hearings jointly together which is exactly what we're doing this evening. I think the question, that comes up is sometimes just is the timing of it. And I think a potential solution could be for planning board to hold their public hearings separately at a earlier date. And then the selectmen hold their public hearing at this stage in the game. These particular ordinance amendments don't involve any type of site plan review provisions or any other elements related to planning board duties, but I think the process piece of it, there's some valid points in terms of maybe how we could potentially arrange the timing of these types of reviews in the future.
Okay.
Does that answer your?
It answers my question, yes. But
So at this point, the selectmen have closed their public hearing, and is the planning board taking a vote to adjourn, or?
Yes.
Mhm.
I think I had 2 votes to adjourn. Nina, I guess.
I'll vote to adjourn.
Okay. So we're adjourning, although I may stick around and hear for later in the meeting, but I don't need to be a panelist anymore.
Okay. So moving along.
So do we make a motion I make a motion to have these proposed ordinances on the town warrant?
They're already on the warrant, and so you
Okay.
guys don't need to take any action tonight besides have the public.
Just the public hearing? Okay.
Yep.
I think we voted last week, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I
Mike.
remember voting,
Yeah.
but you never know.
It feels
I
like
know,
you're
we vote
voting
and
every
we vote
week.
and we vote.
All right. Item 7, public comment regarding state grant application for Pier Road climate change adaptability. And I'll pass that on to Lori.
So we have our consultant, Mike Claus, here with us this evening. You remember Mike Claus?
Do.
We certainly do.
Hey, Mike.
So Mike and Eli have been working diligently on a possible state grant application for the town, and I'm gonna turn it over to Mike and let you give an overview.
The Pier Road Causeway has been on our repair list for a number of years. I'm sure you're all familiar with the flooding that happens at high tide. And that the road did get damaged during the March 2018 storms pretty badly. We had the road torn up. So Lori has been asking if there was some money available from federal funds and to try to repair the causeway. Both Senator Collins and King sent letters to the town earlier in the year asking towns for projects that we could possibly suggest. Denise Brown actually contacted Senator Collins' office and had some discussions with them about the Pier Road Causeway. And they took a look at all the available federal funds, and they noted that the feds had given Maine DOT a $20 million amount for doing climate change infrastructure repairs. And that was we talked to them in February and March about that. That RF request for applications from Maine DOT came out in April. And it seems that Pier Road Causeway can fit that grant opportunity. The applications by the towns are due to DOT the end of May. So we're on a pretty tight schedule for that. So we put together, Eli and I put together a draft grant application. But part of that is the grant requires that the engineering be done to get a construction grant, which is what we're asking for. So we've also put out we've also drafted a request for proposal for engineering to get the project engineered, surveyed, and permitted which we have to do ahead of construction. That's all been budgeted for FY23, and I think it's been through your budget process. But obviously, it's waiting town meeting vote. So typically, we don't send out requests for proposals or grant requests unless we have the money in hand. But we won't have that money in hand until July if it gets voted at town meeting. So we just wanted to give you a heads up that we were doing this, getting this grant application ready. And even though we don't have the town meeting vote yet, if that comes up at town meeting, I think we're doing it because of the deadline. So if that's okay with you, we'd like to proceed. We would not commit the town to any funds before town meeting vote. But we would be reaching out to engineers and the state with this grant application.
I think it's a great idea.
It is.
Absolutely.
So we did as part of tonight also send a letter to all the residents on Pier Road. And I think Chris Mayo also informed the fishermen because we are looking for any public comment on this idea. And I don't know if there's anyone in the audience who wants to speak to this particular issue.
David Perloff has his hand up. No.
Okay, can everyone hear me now?
Yes.
So I totally agree with Alan about the benefits of raising the causeway. I'd also like to have folks think about widening the roadway. As it is today, people walk along are walking in the traffic lanes in both directions, which is quite hazardous, and often cars stop midway on the causeway to take a look at the great scenery. So I hope that can be integrated into the planning process.
It's a good idea.
Mike, do you want to speak to that or?
Yes, I think that would be that is part of our grant application. We've said we're going to widen the road enough to include a sidewalk on one side of the road, basically probably to continue down where the yellow line walking path is. But where the causeway is, we'd have a sidewalk on the new causeway. I think we have enough room to widen it out and still raise the road. We're also looking at the kayak landing there, and we would maintain that kayak landing and hopefully be able to make some improvements with that entrance area.
That's private property, right?
So we have an agreement with the association there. So I think as long as, and we have a pretty good relationship with them, as long as we keep it clean and make it safe. They've had no issues with us doing work down there.
It's really important that we keep that available. That's one of the few places we have to launch kayaks in the harbor. That's great. It's great.
Yeah. It's a safe place. Yeah.
A safe place. Yeah.
We have to make a motion to direct staff to apply for a grant from the Maine Infrastructure Adaptation Fund for the raising of the Pier Road.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Third.
Okay. And we'll take the vote. Pat?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Alan?
Aye.
Ed?
Aye.
And Sheila says aye. Motion passes. Thank you, Mike, for the work you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes. And Mike, thank you for the work you did on Cape Porpoise Pier, because I know that we got our grant money.
We got a lot of construction ahead of us, so.
Yes, we do.
All
I know
for the-
that wouldn't have been possible without you and your work.
Mike is continuing in his consultant role with us through that project. Don't worry.
Good. Good. I'll chain him right to the bait shed. We won't let him go.
No rest
You
for
know-
the weary.
You know, though,
Yeah.
Mike, you do look 5 years younger.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, a little bike ride will do that for me.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Item 8, award Parks and Recreation mower bid.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hey,
Hi.
Seth.
So I prepared the report for you, asking for your approval to purchase a new mower for the Recreation Department. We do have 2 mowers here. Our oldest one is very old. I'm not even sure how old, but it came to us used from the school district, and I'm looking to replace that one. I've worked with Rick, our mechanic, to come up with the specs for a new mower, and we sent those out for request for quotes. I did get 3 back, and I am recommending the Gravelly 504, and that is the more expensive one, but the reason is because it's fuel injected, it will save on maintenance and winterization, and it is more fuel efficient. So that is recommended. And I would be happy to answer any questions you have in regards to this.
Oh, and you forgot, Stephanie, the ethanol won't kill the carburetor since it doesn't have one.
Right.
Yes.
That was the big point that our mechanic wanted to make. Yes.
That is very, as somebody who's been through countless lawnmowers and now is going to buy an electric one, it's a very wise decision. I would make a motion, unless anyone else has any questions, that we approve. Did you have something, Mike?
No, good choice.
Okay. I would make a motion that we approve the Gravelly 992504 with the Kawasaki engine for $14,190.75.
Second.
All right, we'll take the
Thank you.
roll. Thanks, Steph. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Motion passes. Very good.
Thank you.
We'll wait to see it out there on the field. All right. Item 9, consider appointment of, no, we're passing on 9, correct?
Yeah, so we had 2 applicants withdraw their application and another one to go on the back burner until they're back from vacation, and they are considering a couple other appointments as well.
All right. Item 10, consider Arbor Day proclamation. And let me find that. Should have had this ready. All right. Arbor Day Proclamation, 149th anniversary, 1872 to 2022. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska. And whereas 2022 is the 149th anniversary of the holiday, and Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. And whereas trees can be reduced, the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable source, giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our town increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Whereas Kennebunkport has been recognized as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation for the past 45 years and desires to continue its tree planting ways. Now, therefore, we, the Selectmen of the town of Kennebunkport, do hereby proclaim May 12th, 2022 as the 149th anniversary celebration of Arbor Day.
So move.
Second.
And I take roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. And passed. Sorry it took me so long to find it. Okay. 10, accept $75 donation from Miss Susan Gresser, dedicated to the nurses' general account. Staff recommends acceptance of these funds.
So moved with much appreciation.
Second.
All right, take the roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. And thank you very much. Item 11, other business. Pat,
No, I've got nothing.
Mike,
No, I'm good.
Alan,
Yeah, I have just one thing. Softball is going to start June 1st, Wednesday at 6 p.m. All kinds of hats, t-shirts. I'd love to see a full softball field, really.
How do people sign up, Alan and Stephanie Simpson?
That's a Stephanie question.
Okay, so we do have it set up in our software, so people can go online and register and sign up, or they can just show up that night.
So where would they go online to?
So it's kennebunkportrec.com, and there's a little link that says adult softball, so they can just click on that. And if they don't have an account already set up in our system, they will have to set up a household account and then register each member that wants to play.
And so how old is adult?
How old is adult? I would say old enough to swing the bat. I think if you're under the age of 12, as long as they're with a parent, I think that's fine. I've seen, some young children out there with their parents playing. So, Alan, unless you think differently, I think every age is really welcome.
I think you're absolutely right. Also, there are some people that don't like to run, and so they'll get the kids to run for them. And
yep.
It's great. They like to hit the ball, but they don't want to run. So, yeah.
So if I'm somebody who hasn't played in quite a few years, is this competitive? Should I show up?
The league for you.
I might be too old for this.
Never too old.
Never too old. We're there to have fun. That's all that matters.
Yes.
We do. 80-year-olds come out and play with us.
That's right.
So June 1st.
Yes.
6 p.m., which is a Wednesday.
And we've had several people already registered, just so you know, Alan.
Oh, great.
Yes.
Stephanie, if we were registered last year, do we need to re-register?
You do not. You do not need to register. Like I said, you can just show up on the nights you want to play, and we'll get you on a team.
Great.
Sounds good.
That's
right.
all I have.
And Ed,
I'll just pile on with Alan. I'll be there on the 1st of June. Looking forward to it.
good. And I have nothing. Town manager?
I do have a couple of things. One is Tracy O'Rourke wants to inform everybody about our upcoming election.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Tracy.
Tracy.
So as everyone is probably aware, we do have an election coming up on June 14th. There will be a municipal election, a school budget ballot, as well as a primary ballot for the state if you're enrolled in a party. So absentee ballots will be available starting on Monday. We just ask that you not return them until Tuesday when they've had the budget meeting for the school on Monday night. So in order to get a ballot, you can come to the town clerk's office and request one, or you can call us at 967-1610. And we can either mail them out or have them ready and you can just swing in and pick them up really quickly. We're trying to keep people, them in and out of the office as fast as we can. And everyone will be getting the town ballot and everyone will be getting the school budget ballot as well. And if you're enrolled in a Republican or Democratic Party, you will also get a primary ballot. So you have either 2 or 3 ballots, depending on how you're registered. And the last day to request an absentee ballot is Thursday, June 9th at 4:30 when we close. That is by state law. And we'll once again have our secure absentee ballot drop box in front of Town Hall so that people can return their ballots at their convenience right up until Election Day. And people are nervous about the mail and things have been getting lost. So if you wanted to have a more secure version, you can just drop them in our ballot box and we will take them out several times a day. And I think that's it.
You made it pretty easy.
We do everything we can to make it easy for everybody.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you, Tracy.
Thank you, Tracy.
So next up, we have Jay Everett, Chief Everett, to talk about our Memorial Day Parade activities with the fire department.
Oh, yeah.
Chief, are you there?
Did we lose him?
I think he went into hibernation. So Chief Everett wants to make sure everybody knows that the pancake breakfast that the Port Village Fire Company does every Memorial Day before the parade. Oh, here he is.
Oh, here he is.
Apparently sausage fingers on a little tiny phone. So yeah, thank you, Lori. Yeah, so on Memorial Day on the 30th, the Port Village Fire Company is going to have their open house that they started many years ago, but obviously the last 2 years because of COVID had been postponed. So they're having an open house and pancake breakfast from 7 to 10 at 32 North Street at the station. There's no charge for the other than a donation for the breakfast. And the fire company uses that money to sponsor some of the scholarships, and if there's a piece of equipment, say that they decided they wanted to buy and give to the town, those types of things. So it'll be on Memorial Day from 7 to 10 in the morning.
And it is a big week this week in public service. It is National Police Officer Law Enforcement Week. It is also public the Nurses Week, celebrating nurses, and it is Public Servants Week. And so I just want to give a shout out to the people who dedicate their lives to public service. We're very fortunate in this town to have employees that really commit to that every day. Also coming up next week is Public Works Week. And so we'll be having our first annual Public Works open house a week from Saturday, on Saturday, May 21st from 9 to noon over by the Parks and Rec and Wastewater Department by Consolidated School. So there'll be Touch the Truck event, there'll be wastewater tours. Rec is gonna have a bounce house and face painting. And we will also have electric vehicles that people can do free test drives. Solid Waste Committee will be there to talk about recycling and composting. And so there's a lot of activity there. It's all free. There's giveaways for the kids and raffles for the adults. So make sure you join us on Saturday, May 21st from 9 to noon.
Sounds great.
Yes, just pray for good weather for us.
Oh, I know. I know.
That's all I have.
Okay, so we're on to item 12, approve the May 12th, 2022 treasurer's warrant.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Phyllis is aye. And item 13, adjournment.
No, we have an executive
14.
session.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So we have an executive session. We're going to keep the meeting open, but we will be going into executive session.
So do we leave this meeting and then come back?
Yep, so you need a motion. And then you guys will leave the meeting, go to the executive session meeting, and then come back to this live meeting.
Motion to go into executive session.
Second.
Okay, how do we keep this open and then go in?
Dave and Mike will keep it open. You just leave it. Yep, you'll just leave and it'll remain open. Dave and Mike will take care of that.
Okay.
You want to vote on the motion?
What's that?
A vote
We should.
on the motion.
Good call, Pat.
Just checking. I'm not just a pretty face. I pay attention.
Why we
Pat
pay
says,
you big money, Pat.
yeah, Pat says you need to vote on the motion per 1 MRSA 4056A.
Okay.
So you need a roll call vote.
All right. Pat,
Aye. Aye.
Mike,
I think Mike left.
He's trying to find the other. Go ahead. We got enough to make it.
all right, Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
Phyllis is aye. I'm going to try and figure this out. I'm really not sure. Do we leave this?
Yeah.
Yeah, hit the leave button. And then you
Okay.
will enter on the other invite.
Right. I made it.
Hey, there you are, Pat.
Yeah.
Like magic, we're all here.
Mike's muted.
I'm here.
All right, here I am. Thank you.
We're missing somebody. Alan. Oh, there he is.
He was right here. Yeah,
He was here, yep.
hiding.
All right.
Missing
We're all-
Lori.
Okay, we're going to continue the Board of Selectmen meeting.
We're missing Lori.
No, she's here.
She is?
She is
Says
here.
co-host.
I don't see her anywhere.
Oh, I'm looking on the participants list. Shows all of us.
Okay.
All right. Okay, Mike, I'm gonna let you proceed
Okay.
with the explanation, and then we'll take the vote.
So the town manager's contract was scheduled to expire on December 31st of this year. And we had an executive session I think it was April 16th or back that, I don't have the exact date, but we had at one of our meetings, we had an executive session, and we discussed the performance of our town manager as described in the contract. Was supposed to have an annual review with her, and we did. And that annual review we can have posted on the town website for everybody to see if they'd like. We decided as a group that we would like to renew her contract, but effective June 1st this year. So bringing it 6 months forward. And we did an evaluation. She was entitled to, by her contract, a 3% increase June 1st. And we looked at the performance evaluation and discussed it. And we came to the conclusion that because Lori has been such a visionary and such a good guide through the COVID crisis, still in the COVID crisis, her management of the staff, her rapport with the citizens of Kennebunkport and everything else, that we didn't want to just go by renewing the contract effective 6/1 with a 3%. So we ended up recommending an increase of 5%, I'm sorry, I got the exact number here. And bringing her salary to $160,000. So she is one of the people that makes this town work, and we're all unanimous in the evaluation of her performance, and we're all unanimous in the pay raise for her and renewing her contract for 3 years effective June 1st this year. The other thing is that we also took a look at, she is reimbursed. We do not pay for her vehicle, but we reimburse costs to her during the year for just a set amount, a fixed amount. And it's been $6,000 for 3 years. So we have increased that to $7,000. So in addition to her salary increase, she is now at $160,000 plus $1,000 increase for the use of her vehicle. That about covers it. There were a couple of other little small things for computer and for telephone that amounted to $50 each on those. So that is well-deserved. She's a very positive person. She's very responsive. She's kept the town together during the last 3 years during this crisis, and well-deserved. So I would make a motion that we approve the contract as discussed.
Second.
And I will take the roll. Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
I'd like to thank Mike for doing the lion's share of this work, and I will happy to say aye as well.
and I will ditto that. Mike, very, very good job and handled very well. And Lori, we're so happy to have you for another 3 years.
Yep.
So I will make the change for the language for the temporary relocation if it happens.
Yeah.
And I will bring it in to have Lori sign it. And you all need to sign it as well. So I'll get that tomorrow.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds,
It's a win-win.
yeah.
Well, thank you
Sure
all
is.
very much.
Thank you. If there's nothing else, I move to adjourn.
Second.
And the roll, Pat,
Aye.
Mike,
Aye.
Alan,
Aye.
Ed,
Aye.
and Sheila says aye. Thank you all very
And remember that we need your signatures tomorrow morning.
Congratulations, Lori.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
great.
Good night.
Great.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.